So I'm just making a video now. Uh, Basically, I'm just gonna talk off the top of my head. I've been watching a lot of tarot card readers, a lot of channelers and all this and that, and they're just saying, just speak, just start talking, you know, get your word out there. It's important. Everyone has their own unique perspective, and I think it's important to share that. I've always been kind of a weirdo, so maybe my perspective is a little bit different than a lot of other people. I don't know. It's a good question. What am I going to talk about? Be yourself. I like that. That's a good topic. Be yourself. What does that mean? Honestly, I don't even know what that means. It's kind of a deep question. I'm sure all the philosophers have been talking about it for ages. But who are you, right? You're not your thoughts, right? Your thoughts are kind of just there. You're just the observer of your thoughts. But who are you? Who are you deep down inside? You know, that's the real question. And I've been trying to find myself for my whole life, really. You know, I don't know how many countless times I've been sitting there staring at the stars, and my cat is crying. Hold on, let me open the door. Yes, Gray? May I help you? Yeah, I know. I don't want her to scratch. But here's Gray. She's precious. She knows exactly who she is. Cats are cats. They know who they are. There's no questioning. They're just who they are. I like having animals around. It reminds me of being in the now. You know, we all have heard that. You know, especially in the spiritual realm, being in the now is the thing. I'm just petting her now. She's super fluffy, and she's telling me she wants to go to bed. She already ate, so I don't know. I don't think she wants food. She's just hanging out under the camera right now. Be yourself. You know, be yourself in silence, right? That's one thing I haven't been doing is meditating. And that's something that's on my list. Eat healthy, get good sleep, drink lots of water, good supplements, good food, you know, meditate. That's kind of like the final stretch. And it's easy to fall off the horse, you know, we all do. Keeping a journal is important. Why am I even saying all this? I think all of these are aspects of self. If you can follow, I think the best way to find out who you are is to be the healthiest version of yourself. Because if you're sick, or if you're always have a headache or toothache or, you know, stomach ache, whatever it is, you know, depressed, anxious, that is not who you are. That's invasive thoughts. That's chemical imbalance in the brain. In order to really truly find yourself, you really have to start at the biological level. I think 100%, like without a doubt. You know, if you don't get sleep, you're not you, right? If I'm up for 24 hours straight, I'm grumpy, I'm grouchy, I'm agitated. Everyone that seems normal. If you were not tired, they seem probably more aggressive. They think you're jabbing at you or something. So I guess point number one is get your biology in order, get your sleep in order. That's the first step to finding out who you are. Second is, again, I'm always going to lean on this, but isolation, not in a negative way, because when we think of isolation in today's day and age, it's like, oh, it's bad to be by yourself. Being the hermit, the lone wolf is important. That's where you can discuss with yourself. That's where you can find out who you really are, without all the extra distractions, you know, because wherever you go, friends, family, coworkers, partners, whatever, they're always going to put their reflection of you onto you, right? A good example is you have a friend group from high school. You don't see them for, I don't know, a decade. You come back to them, in their mind, you're still that same person. You're not that person anymore. but that's the reflection they put onto you. That's who they want you to be. They put you in that box, keeps it nice and easy. You know, I think it's more of it's sort of like a brain shortcut. Like, okay, this is this person, this is the box they're in. That's what we're gonna stick with. But yeah, I think that's good. Yeah. We're all learning here, okay? We're all learning here. And then we got yeah, okay. Yes. The cat always likes to get pet. Yes. She likes to meow. Okay, let's calm down. I lost my train of thought. Be yourself. Healthy. Isolation, meditation, hydration, good sleep, purpose. Oh yeah. Okay. Well, I guess that ties into each other, right? It's that whole follow your excitement. Your passion is your bliss. I'm not remembering it right, but if you're doing something you hate every day, whether it could be anything, right? Let's just say you don't like going to school. Okay, that's a bad example. If you're a kid or whatever, go to school. You have to go to school. Okay, that's a good place to get a good foundation. Blah blah blah. But I'm talking about more people that are maybe adults. Okay, we're talking adults. Kids, stay in school. You know, do listen to your parents. I'm not gonna get into that. Man, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought again. Follow your passion. Okay, yeah, whatever excites you. Like, everyone has a certain thing that excites them, right? And if you don't, you're probably depressed, and you probably should go to the doctor, therapist, psychiatrist. If you can't afford it, I'm sure, just talking it out with someone, a friend, because when you're depressed, everything seems gray and dark and negative. You're stuck in like a cloud, in a heavy cloud. You got to get out of that. You're absolutely not yourself if you're in that cloud. Yeah. What else? Surround yourself with people. So the entrepreneurial people, they're always like, surround yourself with the 5 people that you want to be like, or you're the sum of the 5 people that you're around the most. There's definitely truth in that. If you surround yourself with a bunch of people that like to drink and smoke and party all day, you're gonna probably pick up some of the lifestyle cues, whether you think so or not. And if you don't, then you're just fighting against that, and you're just basically wasting a lot of mental stack. I don't know if that's a common term, but when you do something, okay, it's sort of like a computer RAM. Like when you do something, it takes up RAM, right? When you're driving, there's a little bit of RAM that takes. When you're reading a book, little RAM. If you're doing multiple things, there's more RAM. If there's toxic people around you, your mental stack starts to go up, right? Because now you have to start coping and dealing with these people around you. Ooh, I think that's great. Hold on. Okay. So, in order to be yourself, I think there's 2 things. It's a spectrum. We'll look at the mental stack thing, right? There's 2 ways, I think, and this is a Jimmy Neutron brain blast that just happened. Okay, on the one side of the spectrum, you have 0 mental stack, right, where you have nothing. It's just pure, like, think of like a monk mode, where it's just pure meditation, Zen, breathing. That's pure 0. You're in 0, like being in a cave, darkness, by yourself, no thoughts, nothing. That's one way to find yourself. And then I think the other way is 100% mental stack. When you're in the zone, when you're so caught up into whatever passionate thing you're into, whether it's painting or driving or dancing, singing, whatever it is, that's 100% mental stack because you're 100% focused. That's when you find yourself. So I think you can find yourself at both ends of the spectrum, So that's kind of interesting. So, last point before I go on, because now it's starting to make sense. It's a triangle. The Illuminati might be onto something. It's a trinity. See, it's like light and dark, and then the center. That's a whole nother thing. That's another thing. Shit. Damn, that's a lot. You're also not going to know yourself unless you've gone through, shadow work. Okay, shadow work, darkness. Everyone has darkness in them. If you don't think you have that, then we have issues. You have to figure that out. You have to untangle the darkness in you, and then you have also the kind-hearted, the lightness in you. Unless you're a psychopath or a sociopath, which you're probably not listening because you're probably not interested in a topic like this anyways. Awesome. Okay, so back to the analogy of 0 and 100 on the mental stack. Full passion, full monk mode. And then somewhere in the center, what is dead center? I think that's another way to find yourself. Maybe that's exactly who you are. You're in between nothing and between that person that is 100% focused. What does that even mean? I don't know. Maybe someone could tell me. I'm going to dig in deeper into that. That's cool. That's cool. I like that. The trinity of yourself. Huh. Anyways, that's awesome. That's it. Just a random rant about trying to figure out who you are, and why it's important. Why is it important to find yourself? Why can't you just live life on autopilot? You could live life on autopilot. But that's no fun, right? Is it about fun? I don't know. That's a tough one. Living life on autopilot. Is that bad? Every person I see that lives life on autopilot, they don't seem happy. They don't seem fulfilled. They don't have. They're probably more depressed. They're more angry. They're more vengeful. They're more selfish. They're more greed filled, envious. So I guess it is bad. Yeah, autopilot, bad. Because when you're on autopilot, you're letting something else run you that's not you. So we don't want to be on autopilot. That's why 0 is good, and that's why 100% is good. Anyways, I got to work on this analogy. I'm going to think on this more. Maybe I can come up with something interesting. I like this, though. Good talk. Good talk, YouTube. Or whoever. I don't know if it's going to be on YouTube or some other wacky place. Anyways, this is Net. I'm not sure what channel I'm going to post this on. Probably Net the Co-Creator. Have a good night, good morning, good evening, good day, good universe.